Welcome to Andy's Personal Development, the place for transactional conversations. During these conversations, we'll discover intentionality and clarity, and of course, purpose. Now, here is your host, Andy Anderson Charles. Hi, and welcome to this edition of Transactional Conversations. We are live, the place for this to discover intentionality, clarity, and purpose. And today is no different. The episode is entitled The Rise of the Dark Whisperer with JT Bailey. And we're going to have him on in a moment, and he's going to tell us all about this particular publication and the works that he's been doing. This is what he looks like. So, we are going to have JT Bailey live in the house. And let me tell you a bit about him before he actually comes on. His information says from humble beginnings in Liberia to forging a path in the aerospace industry, JT Bailey's journey is a testament to resilience, versatility, and the power of storytelling. Known to his readers by the pen name JT in inverted commas, Bailey is no stranger to hard work, having honed his skills in various fields from door to door sales to construction to work in the aerospace industry. But it's in the world of fiction where he's found his true calling. Rise of the Dark Whisperer marks the beginning of his literary adventure where themes of love, loss, grief, and mental illness came together in a captivating, emotionally charged narrative. Wow, sounds intriguing. Yes, indeed. So let's welcome live on Transactional Conversations our guest, JT Bailey. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, and we appreciate you and we thank you for taking the time to be with us out of your busy schedule. So, JT, there's so much that I want to ask, but before I do that, tell us what you think in your own simple manner defines the philosophy of your writing as far as JT Bailey is concerned. What is the one thing that you want people to know and to feel and to get out of your writings?
Honestly, I want my readers, I want them to know and to understand that um, writing can be fun. I
Yeah.
know that we have so many different stigmas about writing, but if you find a passion, if you find a field that you or something that really uh, touches you in the heart, just write about it. Just be open to express yourself. The worst thing you can do is cut yourself short and say I can't do this. I'm not as good as so and so, so therefore I don't have the potential to do it. But just take the first step and go forward, and then just take the pen and just write. My book, Rise of the Dark Whisperer, I started writing that when I was doing construction in Arizona,
Hmm.
and so it was a balance between doing hard physical labor plus coming home tired, and instead of watching TV, I just chose to just put my thoughts on paper, and one thing led to the next, and I was able to complete the story.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, JT. So let's just help each other to relax a little bit more. Why did you choose your style of writing? I mean, you could have gone basically anywhere, but what
Hmm.
made you choose your style of writing? What was the influence?
I think my youth played a big factor in that.
Uh huh.
I read I read the Harry Potter series, I mean, who
Mm.
hasn't? They are great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I read the Magic Tree House in elementary school. So yeah, just from coming from Liberia to America and going through the school system and discovering the library that they have here and how much or the ability to access so many different materials, I just dove into the fantasy genre and I kept reading and reading and until I one day wanted to be a part of it. To yeah,
Wow. Is there any particular writer? You mentioned Harry Potter. Is there any particular writer that has helped create that extra added push, that impetus to allow you to hold on to that fantasy genre? Any one name or two names come to mind?
yeah. I would say there are quite a couple.
Yeah,
See, trying to think on some of my favorites. Have you heard of the Aragon series by any
I've
chance?
I've heard about it.
Okay. Um, yeah. Uh, Christopher, I believe his name is Christopher Panini. I always
Uh-huh.
it sounds Italian. I always butcher it, but he started very young, like me. He started very young when he was writing, and I I just loved his style. So I think I kind of wanted to incorporate some of his techniques into my story as well.
Okay, great, wonderful. Thank you for sharing, JT. I want to focus on your personal story a little bit. So I want to take you back down memory lane or history lane, however you choose to describe it, and help us to come to terms with you getting out of Liberia and coming to North America. What was that experience like for you as far as you can remember?
It um it was fascinating, scary, and eye opening. To be honest,
Yeah.
um, because you know this the typical uh, African narrative, right? Literally, that was my life. My family in Liberia, we literally lived in a mud hut. So
Mm. Wow.
yeah, so it was like Monrovia, which is the capital, was way more
Mhm.
developed. Now they have cars, they have technology, they're doing really good. But the village that I was from didn't I didn't see any of that until I started my journey to come to America. So I remember the first time I saw a car, I was fascinated, and then getting on the airplane,
Uh-huh.
um, and then just coming to the states and just learning and experiencing so many different new things, and it was fascinating. I feel very fortunate to um, have had the opportunity to come here and to also be born in Liberia because I'm very proud of it. I love the Liberian people, and I do have some great memories of that place as well.
Wow. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, JT. Does the name George Ware mean anything to you?
Yes, it does. Yep. Any
How?
true Liberian knows that
Uh-huh.
name pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, part of an amazing soccer history with regards to the
Mm.
World Cup and professional football. I always remember his exploits and how he came just out of the blue and made such a great impact on the game. So, hats off to the man from Liberia. So, so you came to the States and you got yourself involved in the construction industry. You had other things that you were doing. Did you see somewhere down the road that you would end up being a writer?
Honestly, no.
Ah,
No. If I went back or 4 years or 8 years
Uh-huh.
prior, if somebody came up to me and basically told me that in about 8 years or so I'll be writing a book,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, "There's no way. I don't have
All right,
time.
all right,
I
all
don't think
right.
I can do it." But um, yeah, like I said earlier, just taking that first step and just you know picking up the pen. I mean, nowadays we have computers, so just one page at a time, and then
Yeah.
next thing you know, you have a story, and then obviously use editors and get advice from published authors as well, so you can pick their brain a little bit, so you can improve on your skills.
Okay. Okay, cool. So this The Rise of the Dark Whisperer, it says it's a new take on the Chosen One trope. It's a dark
Mhm.
fantasy novel and is the first in a series following the lawyer family as they fight against evil. You wrote 363 pages, JT, and it was published on October 28, 2024. How has it been doing thus far? What is the feedback you're getting from the publication?
Um, Honestly, really good. The readers that I have currently, they love the story.
All
Um,
right.
because the main character Seth, he's not the typical good superhero.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of has a dark side,
Yeah.
and he uses more of his dark side to solve his
Mm-hmm.
problems than the norm of um, being compassionate and understanding. He reacts more
Okay.
uh, than thinks.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I'm intrigued, JT. How did you come up with these characters?
Uh, so when I went to school, I love psychology, and so when I met individuals throughout my life, I uh, noticed certain characteristics that they would have, and and I'll go up to them. It's like, hey, I really like so and so about you. Do you mind if I use these traits as a character in the story I'm writing? And then
Okay.
and so that way I can get my characters and their situations and their reactions close to real people, as close as I can
That's
possibly get.
possible. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Um, and I believe that deepens the narrative and just helps people connect more with the characters because they're based on true human emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I like that. That's a new twist. I'm kind of hearing that for the first time. So hats off to you for using that as a technique. So the reason why you love this story, I'm seeing here, it says on set lawyer's 18th birthday, his father is murdered in front of him. He also discovers that everything he thought to be true was a lie. He and his family are whisperers. Worse than that, they are the subject of a prophecy that dates back to when the oracles created the world. A prophecy that makes them the target of the syndicate of dark voices headed by the treacherous Queen Malia Salem and her right hand man, Damon. Wow, that's really some intriguing stuff. Is there a continuum of this story, this narrative that's gonna create even a larger sense of curiosity and even more likes for the people that already like the story, JT? Tell us about that.
Um, that's a very good question, and yes, I so in my second book, I plan to go deeper into the lore and just I'll try my best to leave as much cliffhangers as possible. But the end of my current book, I did leave a pretty huge, emotional, heart wrenching cliffhanger. So
Ah,
and the the feedback that I have received from my readers so far, and they love it because now they want the next book because they want to know what happened to Seth, why did this happen to Seth, and why did he choose to do so and so. Yeah, so I'm very excited for um, the rest of the books to come out. My next one I'm planning to have completed by the end of this year.
Okay, good. So congratulations on what you've done just far, and also it shows your natural talent, your natural ability to create suspense and drama, so that you have people anticipating stuff that is gonna come later on. Let us just take a look at Rise of the Dark Whisperer. This is a really fascinating cover. Did you come up with this by yourself, or this was part of what the team was doing to help you to get this final look?
Um, I definitely had a team that helped me. Um, the person that I'm so lucky to work with, or had the opportunity to work with, she's she does a fantastic job with art. Uh, art major. She's been doing it
Hmm.
for years,
Yeah.
and I told her the concept of my story, and then she said, "Don't worry, sit back, relax. I got you covered." And she definitely delivered. She went above and beyond,
Yeah.
beyond my
Wow.
expectations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a really fascinating final cover of the book, and I guess it sort of engages one's attention to figure out, okay, I wonder what is behind the cover. So you intrigued enough to say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna just take a read. Where can they get a copy of your publication, JT?
Yes, on Amazon. It's available on Amazon and Kindle.
Amazon and Kindle. Okay, great. Now, with regards to you spoke about Harry Potter and I can't remember the other series that you spoke about. Do you
The
see
Aragon series. Yeah.
right? Yeah. Thank you for that. Do you see yourself engaging in the possibility of a television series or maybe even a movie? Because it has that kind of flair, that kind of appeal. How do you see it?
I mean, if I do get a movie deal, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be very very happy. Um, because it's always good to see your work literally come to life. And yeah, so if it does happen, I feel I'll feel blessed honestly.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Have you had the opportunity to do any live book talks and share the depth of your story and your thinking, your ideologies with people in real time?
Currently, no, but I would like to do that in the future.
Okay, something to look forward to.
Hmm.
What is your JT? What is your basic philosophy about life? How do you see people being able to get along day to day, despite the fact that we'd have our differences, whether it be race or socioeconomic background or social standing, religion? What's your basic philosophy of life?
Um, I honestly I believe in the notion of karma, right? And
Uh huh.
also the the golden rules, right? Do unto others as you would like done unto you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I mean, if somebody does offend you, which happens a lot these days,
Mhm.
people are just so careless with their words, their
Yeah.
actions,
Yeah.
and it is very sad. But I believe that eventually all of those bad deeds, if you pursue that course of action, will eventually come back to you tenfold. So, and I feel like the world will be such a way, way, way better if people can just breathe, um, and just imagine themselves in the shoe, or just understand the other person's background, their story. Because everybody has so much that we all deal with. Just choose compassion over hatred, over, I don't know, pride, whatever it may be. Just uh, treat one treat one another with respect. That's basically my mantra for life. Just respect.
Yeah, and I respect that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing, JT. So we're gonna give JT a moment just to take a breath, and we're gonna share with you some encouragement from Amanda Blackwood, who would have appeared on our sister podcast that is Breaking Out of Depression, that is Ged, every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, and she's just going to share some stuff with regards to her experience, and hope that you would support that program as well. So here we go.
I just wanted to take a moment to tell you all about this amazing podcast that I had the absolute privilege of being on recently. Oh my gosh. Andy Charles is such an easy person to talk to. It's such a wonderful podcast to listen to. I love these guys. I know that I'm not going to have nearly as many opportunities to speak to them as I wish I could, but the program, Breaking Out of Depression, is really doing exactly that for so many people. It's been a great thing to be a part of. It's wonderful to uh, see the progress of this show as it goes along. I'm just really blessed to have been a part of this.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Amanda. She has been one of our most intriguing guests on the podcast entitled Breaking Out of Depression. Remember, it's on at 6:30 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time every Tuesday on Facebook, the LBW Radio Network, and of course the YouTube channel as well. So for now, we are in the presence of JT Bailey, and we are looking at the rise of the dark whisperer. So, JT, when you look back at your life, could you recognize any one or two, maybe even three defining moments where you realize it was like an aha moment? It was like a light bulb clicking in your head, in your mind, and you realize, hey, you know what? I, JT Bailey, need to do this, and you just went ahead and did it, and it made a difference. Could you recall any of that moment or two in your life?
Mhm. Yes. I think it was the first case. I mean, there has been many, but the first one that I can think of currently was when I was living in Idaho, and I had this. I know this might sound a little bit crazy, but I had this urge just to so a sales opportunity came for me to become a salesman, right? And mind you, at that point I really hated communication with people, like speaking and talking to strangers in any form was not my cup of tea. So it was that aha moment where um I felt like if I really want to improve in this department, then I have to do things that I weren't so comfortable with doing. So I chose to be a salesman, and it was hard for the first month or so. But as the months progressed, I um, gained the confidence and was able to just knock on doors, talk to people, and get my message across. And it was a really good learning opportunity for me, and I enjoyed it. The other time was about school.
Hmm.
Basically, what courses I should take, or basically what to do. What- Like many of us, when you first start college, you you don't know what you want to do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I decided to go pursue psychology.
Uh-huh.
At that point, it was a field that I didn't really know much about, and so I did it, and I was able to understand more about society, how we all work together, the different languages we speak, either through speech or through body language, and it was all pretty educational for me. So uh, I believe pursuing communication has been like a big drive for me, because there's like the old saying, like um how does it go, like money is power or something, but I think that's false. I think pure communication and getting your thoughts and your emotions across uh is the best form of personal power you can ever get, because once you feel understood, there's nothing that you can do.
Mm, yeah. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, JT, and for being a bit vulnerable and open with us. We appreciate that, and we appreciate you. So, with regards to going forward, you have more stuff in the making. You probably would love to see a movie or a television series which you're writing. When you look at what is happening in terms of the literary world, what is your expectation out of other people that are involved in the same genre with you, that is fantasy writing, in terms of not really the competition but relevance? Because you choose your characters basically from looking at real people and then
Hmm.
asking them permission so that you can use that and entwine it, within the concept of your fantasy. It's a technique, and I applaud you for it because it's the first time I'm actually hearing someone doing something like that. It's original. But when you look at other persons that are doing the same thing as you, what are your expectations with regards to how they connect with people in real time?
So just so I make sure I have your or I understand your question. So authors in my same genre, right? Fantasy. Um, how has their work, or how would their work impact my future works?
No.
Or
How would you compare what they're doing to what you're doing based on the fact that
okay,
you actually use real people to get the characteristics and the mannerisms and the personalities for your publication?
um, yeah, that's a really good question. I haven't
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
thought about it, but I'm glad you
Hmm.
asked, so I can
Yeah.
um think on it. I think it would be. I mean, from the stories that I read so far, um, it's. I feel like they do the similar. Maybe not the same. They don't go through the same steps I do.
Hmm.
Maybe subconsciously they also study human behavior to uh, develop their characters.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like uh, yeah, that's a really good question, man.
Yeah. 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 It has you thinking, right?
Yeah. Well, at this point, I think if anything else, if I keep doing what I'm doing and also reading their works, that I'll be able to at least close that gap a little bit. I mean,
Hmm.
they've been doing it for years.
Hmm.
I'm brand new, so
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
expect to be Shakespeare anytime soon.
All right.
But but yeah, I feel like just reading theirs and just keep doing what I'm doing uh, will get me closer to my goal.
Okay, great. What advice, JT, would you give to any young aspiring writer? You have already published your ideas, your taste of fantasy writing. It's dark, but it's also intriguing. I am intrigued by it. As you said, your story rightfully encapsulates real characteristics of people, yet in a different time because it's fantasy. So that's the key to it. But if you were to
Hmm.
advise any young writer, JT, as to what line of, whether it be linear things that they need to do or use their own imagination, how would you help them to get published and to get their idea of what their fantasy writing is out? What are the steps that they should take to reach to where you have reached, for example?
Um, I will start by saying just get your thoughts on paper. Um, just do a pre-draft. Just write as much as you can. Right.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry about grammar. Don't worry about any errors. Just
yeah.
write. Just brain dump. Get everything out, and then go through yourself. Structure everything so it makes sense to you. And then after you're done with that, um, it's don't be ashamed to ask for help. Uh, Reach out to people who have accomplished great works or who have published their own books and pick their brain because choosing to write it's it's a great and very difficult thing to do. So just don't be afraid to
Yeah,
reach out. You're not alone. Many people before you have done it. Um, the, many authors, editors, they're more than willing to give you suggestions and guide you to ultimately reach your goal. So um, yeah, just ask for help and be disciplined.
yeah,
Have a set time that you write. If
yeah,
you're a morning person, write in the morning. If you're a night
uh,
person, if you're a night owl,
yeah.
uh, write at night. If you like to, I don't know, listen to music and write. Whatever makes you feel
Okay,
comfortable.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's good advice, JT. Thank you. I like that. I appreciate that. In terms of what you do, your writing now, would you say that you're a full time writer?
No, I am. I am definitely not, but I would like to be.
You would like to
Um,
be, yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
like to be.
yeah.
Yeah. Right now I have a full time job,
Uh huh.
and I was writing on the side um, as a hobby,
Mm-hmm.
but um, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoy, it was really awesome just sharing my story with other people and getting the reviews and the feedback that I got, which kind of boosted my confidence a little bit. Because honestly, I feel like many writers and and authors probably went through the same thing. But when you're writing, you don't feel like you're the most creative person. You're like, oh, so and so is doing so much better, right? So you do have a lot of like doubts.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, but once you get it done, it's gonna be one of the greatest things you do. So definitely go for it.
yeah. Thank you, JT. You mentioned so many great writers and poets and philosophers of writing and authoring that have come true. I don't tend to align myself or even uh, identify myself with any of them. I just kind of choose what I believe aligns with my values. Because My values are important to me. And that may sound a bit selfish, but everybody has to have some kind of value. And I think your opportunity here is to share your values, your beliefs with the world, and you can do that through writing.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I became a Amazon number one best-selling author for co-authoring Bongs Back 2 From Dreams to Reality with Dr. Stem and about nine or 10 other writers. And that felt really good because we were able to take our own original ideas and beliefs, put it into a publication, put it out there, and the people responded, and that felt good. So, what I think I'm saying to you, JT, is that you got to believe in your story, man. You have to believe in your values, you have to believe in your ideas, and don't necessarily compare it with anyone, even though they were great. It's not about great, it's about relevance, being able to connect with people on a real day-to-day basis and have that feeling that they can actually see themselves through your fantasy, even though it's not real, but at least you can grab that part of their imagination. And in addition to that, you can help them believe that there's hope again through your fantasy stories and your writing stories. And I'm seeing that with this guy, with Seth being the hero, the main character in your fantasy writing. So just continue doing what you're doing, go for it, and don't think about the sky. Just think about no limits. Just put it out all there and let the universe take it where it needs to go. And I think everything is going to be not just all right, but better with you. Any last words you want to say before we wrap up, JT?
Um, Honestly, thank you so much for inviting me on today. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and um,
Same here, same
just
here, same here.
just sharing my story with you guys. So thank you.
You're welcome, JT, and we thank you for what you have done, and we pray that you have continued success with your writing. The Rise of the Dark Whisperer with JT Bailey. Check it out on Amazon, folks, and I've put up some information there for his writing website and his Instagram site that you can check out what he's doing, and he will bring you up to date and up to speed on what's happening for the future as well. So, we've come to the end of this episode entitled The Rise of the Dark Whisperer with JT Bailey, and he has shared some of his story, his ideas, and the reason why he chose the characteristics and the personalities that are in his publication. So until next time, this is Andy of Andy's Personal Development, together with my guest, JT Bailey, saying continue to have transactional conversations for intentionality, clarity, and purpose. Thanks for your continued support and keep reaching for your dreams. Bye for now, guys.